We put this in front of her because we're tired of looking at her. Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi. This is Beth.
I'm Belle.
I'm Eve. She is.
Hello.
We have Eve's flowers on display. Look at these. These are beautiful.
I did 2 eucalyptus branches and 1 leaf branch. And I plan to make more leaves
and
and
cherry blossoms and
I like this the detail on here. This little
the inside
inside of the flower.
the flowers. Look at that. Look in there. That's
I'm having so
gorgeous.
much fun making those.
Anyway,
Yeah.
those are our flowers.
I was up until like midnight making the eucalyptus and leaves, and I finally said I better go to bed, and I finished it today.
a wrinkle.
You got a big wrinkle. Sorry.
So
Here we are. This is kind of a hard time for us, and that leads into what I'm going to talk about. I was very busy this week making a lot of things. So a year ago, I purchased this fabric. We'll take a picture of it so you can see the bag. I purchased this fabric and this cute little teapot charm, which you will see in the picture later.
Excuse me for opening a Velcro.
To make my mother a bag. My mother loved these bags that I make, and I was going to make her one. And you know, you always feel like you have.
Excuse me.
You always feel like you have plenty of time. And for one reason or another, I didn't make it, and got her something else for Mother's Day. And I said, well, I better make those bags. Mother's Day's coming around, and I should use that fabric.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And I got so sad while I was making this bag. And I actually cut out 2 of this type of bag and 1 of the vinyl front bags. And I decided while I was cutting them out that someone should have the gift of this bag and this notions pouch, as I intended to give to my mother. So on my channel tomorrow, I'll discuss it and how you can receive it. I'll discuss it at the end of my video. My videos aren't very long.
On Monday?
No, my video, I make them on Sunday and I post it on Sunday.
Okay, so that would be the same day this posts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you'll have all week to view it and yeah. So someone will receive this Mother's Day set, and as I said, it has a notions pouch that matches.
It's beautiful.
So there's threads everywhere. So be listening on my channel.
So you'll be able to find her channel if you go below in our description. You'll see our link tree, and if you click on that, it'll take you to our link tree page, and Eve's YouTube channel is linked there. So you just go there, click that, and you'll get to all her videos.
And I do want to say that my mother loved, we had a lilac bush. And she loved the purple flowers that were on it, and that's what made me think of this for her. And one of the other reasons why it's been so much on my heart and so hard for me as I made this week is that we're going to have her graveside service this coming
Thursday,
week. Yeah, and so all of us are kind of struggling with memories and
closure.
Yeah. So anyway, be listening tomorrow for that, and
No, it'll be
same
today.
day.
Yeah.
Sunday.
When this publishes,
When this
the
publishes,
same day that
sorry,
she publishes
Sunday.
hers.
I post my videos on Sunday.
Yeah. And we
Usually
post them on Sunday, but we record them on Saturday.
Yeah,
so.
I usually post in the evening. So
Yeah.
Last week I showed you that I made a llama bag. It sold in about an hour. So I made another one. Has the same cute little charm.
So cute.
I actually
want
bought
that.
out Michael's. I bought out 2 Michaels of the little charms.
Do we still have llama scissor fobs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that it has been
because we have some more charms. I was like, do I need to make some more?
that has been reposted, and also this came out of timeout.
Wow.
On the front one.
Yay, yay.
And it made up very
Here, let me
fast.
hold it
It made up very,
center.
very fast. Not a
So
problem.
it's solid on the back, and it has vinyl on the front, so you can see your things.
Yeah.
It has like green fabric on the inside.
Yeah,
it's so
and
pretty.
and just it's a nature of the materials. Patterns, if patterns are right next to it, they will stick to it. So that's just
Yeah.
how vinyl is.
To the vinyl, yeah.
That is how vinyl is.
It's not how vinyl is; it's how ink is. Like
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you print on a laser printer will.
But vinyl
Yeah,
sticks
I
to
had
vinyl.
somebody-
but yeah.
Yeah, I had some. I saw a post that somebody put on there
That's
that
pretty.
they were asking,
And
if
it
you
has
had-
the same cute charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Beth.
So a
phone,
couple
sorry.
people have had that issue of their pattern sticking to the vinyl. And a matter of fact, I did one also on this I think it was this bag or my other bag. I don't know. I have two of these with the vinyl front. This one is full of cat pokes. Because
And then
my
I-
cat Snug, who
And then a matching
loves
Notions pouch.
everything
It's
cross
cute.
stitch.
I love them. Let me see that. It's very cute.
So, and the other bag that's here,
So cute.
when in late November and early December, I was making Christmas project
Bags
bags,
and
and I made and posted the
Notions pouch.
the Christmas bag that the one without the vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
And the Notions pouch with this pattern, and I guess I got sick before I could get this one up because it doesn't even have the
The charm.
charm put on it. Yeah, and I all this time I thought it was on the Etsy site, and it wasn't. and
So
so
if you feel like Christmas in April,
well,
We
you
got
know,
you
a
covered.
lot of people do Christmas starting fairly soon because you have to have time to do it.
yeah.
Anyway,
There's a dog under
this
me.
will go up shortly. All it needs is a charm and photographs. So I'm planning to put that up. And then, oops, sorry. I made the pastor's going to do my mom's service this coming week. We're making a little basket, for lack of a better word, for
Thank
him.
you. Yeah. I thank you.
Because he does not want any sort of payment. And I made him a keychain, not a scissor
I've
fob,
got it here.
a keychain.
I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah, and
It's real nice.
I made 3 others, and we'll show you the pictures of all of them.
Yeah.
But this one is got like a bronze look to it, and this,
Arrowheads. what it
yeah,
is.
they're arrowheads, and this is the only one that has bronze colored beads. This has a copper colored arrowhead, and
Are those scissor fobs?
yeah. Well, they could be keychains too if you snap this around one of those split rings, you know. And this one has a nickel look to it. So I made those, and those are not on the Etsy site yet. I was taking pictures and doing that. I have been very, 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 very busy this week. So doing project bags and look,
Looking for
Oh,
a
look,
notion.
yeah.
I am my mother's child.
She lost one of the things she made.
Yeah, and I've been looking for it all week. And the nearest I can figure is I accidentally threw it away when I took the tablecloth off. But I don't think I would do that. But you know, but I have a finish. Yay!
The top
Wait,
part
take a
was
picture of it
getting-
because it's
Yeah,
hard
the
to
top
see. There,
part
wait.
was
whoop.
getting. There it is.
Yeah, it's very light.
She
colored.
finally finished those hearts.
Well, I started doing this with the sewing method. The bottom part of the purple and the green completely, and it went so much faster. I don't think I'm good enough to be able to concentrate on intricate patterns to try to do that. But for something that was simple like that, it was okay. And then, lastly, a year ago, I made this pattern.
We'll put a picture in right here.
Yeah. And it is, it says Mayflowers, and it's a little basket with flowers in it. Not precisely a Mother's Day thing, but you know, April showers bring Mayflowers. There's an April showers one, so this is why there's a Mayflowers one. Well,
not to be confused with the Mayflower.
No. So I originally stitched it on this beautiful fabric that Beth dyed, and it ended up being too dark where I was...
That's a pattern you made.
Yes, it's one of my patterns. It's on our Etsy site.
Okay.
It was too dark where I was going to put the lettering, because the lettering is, you know, back stitching. And I decided to make a couple of small changes to it. So this pattern isn't even what it was. But I said, you know, I don't want to rip that out. I don't want to take it out. It looks good. I like it. I'm going to go ahead and FFO this. So, yeah, it's not the pattern that is, but it's close. So, I think, other than losing the Notions pouch, the first Notions pouch I made is the one I lost. I think that's all. I've been madly cleaning because my brother is coming and I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, I got to clean my house. My aunt is going to stay with us, and my brother's going to stay here, and
yeah, so
it's crazy.
So that's what I've been up to this week.
Shall I go next? Because I haven't been up to anything. As usual. Well, actually, so to go along with the keychain for our pastor, I made, what was this? Coming loose. I crocheted some coasters for him, and sort of some like brown, blue, gray, and this nice green. I think they're nice and manly. And he's a coffee drinker, so I thought this kind of, I don't know, looked coffee themed. So I made this for him, and Eve made the keychain, and
I'll talk about what
yeah,
I did.
Beth made him something too. So we have all that ready for him. And so I did that. Oh, I do have stuff I did. Let me get all this junk out of the way. So my physical therapist is going to have a baby.
Oh, cute.
And I made this little hat. I crocheted it, and
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute? It's
That's
from a little
really
book
cute.
called Baby Hats. This is called the Heirloom Hat. And it's like made the 3-month size, so cute. So that I did that, and then I felt bad for the other therapist because there's 2 others. So she's the main actual PT, and then the other girl that works with me is she's a student, but you know, she's basically getting her, I guess, her residency or what. I don't know how it works. But anyway, so she works with me, and then there's another guy, Donovan, who helps me do all my. He's like a tech. He helps me do all my exercises and stuff. So I thought I better make them something too. So I made this for Donovan, and then I'm gonna make one of these for Maddie. So anyway, I did all that.
Did I show the keychain that I made for
But those aren't knitting, those are crocheting.
Yeah,
right?
these are crochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Beth, you don't crochet, do you?
No.
No, just Naomi and I.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do, and So my day. I'll tell you about my day for sure. So I've been talking about the Master Hand Knitting Program, and today and tomorrow is Master's Day online. They usually have it in person, but of course, you know. So this year it's online, and it was pretty nice. But I was all day doing that. So like the classes are so detailed, and you have to focus so much that I couldn't. But I wanted to do something with my hands because I'm always doing something, and I couldn't knit. Like I couldn't work on the actual Master Hand knitting because you have to really focus on that, and I was trying to focus on the classes. And then I thought, well, I could knit one of my other projects, and I was like, no, because I need the pattern up, and I need to focus on like I didn't want to. So that's why I started this coaster, because I was like, it'll keep my hands busy. I don't have to think about it. And
That's why I'm not working on cute boots here.
Yeah.
Because I'd
Yeah.
have to, I would make tons of mistakes
Yeah.
because we're
because we're talking.
distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did this to keep my hands busy during master hand knitting classes. But I found out about another program, and I'm sort of like, wow. Because one of the things I've been discouraged about is my hands being so bad. You know, I'm worried that I'll do this program and get to a level and just not be able to complete it, or I don't know. But I found out today during their classes that they also have something called the technical editor certification. That's somebody who goes through knitting patterns that people design and will check it for errors, check it for correct math, and so the course is all online. It's just emailing back and forth. So you don't have to. I don't think you have to do any knitting, or maybe you just small amounts to make sure it's correct or whatever. Anyway, I thought that is something, because I love proofreading. It's like my nerdy thing that I love to do, and I thought that would be perfect. And if my hands crash and burn, I could still do that. And actually, they said that they have companies like yarn companies or pattern companies, like call them and ask for their graduates, and people get jobs right out of that certification program. So I'm like, so maybe I'll do that. I don't know, thinking about it. The other thing I have with me is my stitch markers. I've been talking about them, but I finally made them. I'll take pictures. But I have a whole set of little kitties. They're a kitty on one side and just a regular bead that sort of matches on the other. And what's neat about these, they're not my design. They're designed by a lady who runs a website called 10 Rows a Day. But she told me I could sell them if I wanted to, which is very nice. And just as long as I credited her with the design. Can you believe I don't have a knitting needle with me? But what these do is they adjust to whatever size knitting needle you have.
Pin.
You can't see. Oh, that'll work.
It's in this
Oh,
bag.
that's okay.
Oh.
Anyway, I'll just use my scissor. So you pull on one side. This one.
Oh.
You pull on one side. Oh, look at that. That's good. So it's a bamboo stick, but you pull on one side and it snugs up against whatever size knitting needle you have. And if you have a bigger needle, you pull on the other side and it opens up that circle. So you can use this no matter what knitting needle size you have. So you don't have to have multiple stitch markers. You know how they always come in sets, like you have the little tiny ones for the sock yarn needles, and you have the bigger ones for your big, bulky weight needles. So this will adjust. You just pull on either charm, no matter how big or little your knitting needle is. So when it's snugged up against a small needle, you have one long string and one short string. So it's kind of fun. So I have a yellow kitty, a white kitty. Here's my yellow kitty. A sort of purpley gray and a gray. So you could buy them all together, or you could use them like for sweater markers, like on your increases and decreases around your sleeves, and then one for the beginning of the row. I also have a ladybug and a coordinating one. I'll take pictures of all these.
And they'll be on the Etsy site
and
soon. I finally got her to bring them.
Yeah, we're going to put them on the Etsy site. And I was just thinking, I have some little, you can't see these, but little sort of, they're just plastic, but alphabet charms. So I'm going to do some like SSK, and I don't have any numbers. So I thought I could do a K2 tog, so you could remember which increase you need to do where. But I need to get some numbers for that. But anyway, I thought that'd be nice. Or you could just do like initials or the word knit or whatever. Knit and purl, or I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to be working on this today because I'm kind of out of it with my knitting right now. And I'm knitted to my eyeballs from all day sitting in class. And it's exhausting. And the other problem was I missed my first class. It was just so welcome. But I stayed up all night last night. I had slept all afternoon because I was real upset yesterday. I slept all afternoon, so then, when you sleep too long, you don't want to go to bed. And then I was like, well, I'll watch. They had preliminary videos for us to watch, and so I thought I'll watch those and, to get ready for the classes. and I also didn't feel good. My stomach was hurting. Anyway, it was a big mess. And when I finally decided to lay down, I looked out the window and the sun was coming up. So then I tried to sleep. I had an alarm set. I woke up, turned off the alarm. Like, okay, I'll get up in a sec. And that didn't work. So, oh, and I was going to say the other thing about these stitch markers is they're made with leather. They're leather strings, and it's knotted. So there is nothing on here to catch your yarn to snag. It's completely snag free. It's just beads and leather. So there won't be any metal, hoops or anything like that. So I like that because I've had a couple stitch markers that are beautiful, but they're made with that metal, and they have a little crimp bead on there, and sometimes it hooks in the yarn. So anyway, I think that's everything for me.
Okay.
I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of out of it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is
Well, I saw you had a finish.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. Last Saturday, I spent basically all day sitting at my computer designing. I think I talked about this last week. So this is the finished version of the bookmark that I designed for Byron, or the pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And so
We'll put up a picture.
Yeah. So this is
Kinda
the
Put up a picture of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so also I'm gonna put this on the Etsy site so that if you want to purchase this PDF, you can download it. So it says, "Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer." So it's there.
Yeah. Here's a picture.
Yeah. So
Picture here.
Picture right here.
So I designed this on Saturday. I kind of finalized the design and then worked on it all week and made a few changes while I was stitching it and made a few mistakes while I was stitching it. I did this border. I was talking about this on my update that I started in this corner because I knew I was only going to use a little portion of this fabric. So I didn't want to start in the middle of this giant piece. So I, gave myself like 2 inches and 2 inches. But I was very close to the corner here. So I was like struggling to, and this is, it's linen, so it's very floppy. So I was, struggling to put it in my hoop. I was like, I kept wrestling it around. So I started in this corner and I went down on this border. And I got to, around here, and I knew I had to move the hoop, but I didn't want to move it and have to struggle again to get this upper section back in the hoop when I moved it again. So I did this side, and I went down here.
What is that saying Mom used to say? The
lazy one works double.
El flojo trabaja doble.
Yeah. So I went
The
down.
lazy one works double.
Yeah. So I went down the other side, and I came down this way, and then I went down on across and down this side, and I did like the lighter green, the darker green, the lighter green. And I even did this little sun with the rays on it. So I did all this upper section and came down. And so then I finally moved the hoop and I went all the way around here. And I got up here and I realized I'm off one stitch.
Oh, no.
I'm too far over one. It doesn't line up. So like, oh no. And I thought for sure it was up here because when I was stitching it, I changed the design a little bit. So I moved everything over to square. So I thought, well, I probably made a mistake up here. When I moved it, I didn't count right. So I counted across and it was correct. So I thought, oh no, that means this thing over here is where I made the mistake. And so I went through and counted it and it's way over here. So I had to pull all of this out.
Oh no.
and do it all again.
Well, you told me about that before I did that start on Strawberry Cow,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to start on the corner because I was going to do the sewing method on it, and I said I want to get some of the design in there, and I said no, I better finish that border.
Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, I did all this, and it's mostly 2/2 on the 32 count linen, and this was dyed with brown dye, and I went through and looked at all the corners and decided which thing to use best. So I thought I liked this one best of all.
That's so pretty. I really
Yeah.
like it. If you're wondering what I'm
So-
staring at, excuse me, I'm going to interrupt you. I emptied this little baggie that I had of all these alphabet charms.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought, oh, I'll make one side of the thing say knit and the other side say pearl. Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
There is not a single K in this. Sorry. Okay. That's why I'm sitting here with my head down going, wait, really?
You're going to have to spell knit N-I-T.
NIT.
Have a knit, have a lice.
How are you going to
Knit and lice.
That's funny. How are you going to finish that?
I'm just gonna do a fabric backing like I did Hannah's little
Okay.
thing.
It's really pretty.
Yeah,
That's
because
a good
I thought
design.
about putting like cording or a tassel or something like that, and I thought no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But this is the fabric I'm going to use for the backing. So it's this darker green is very much like the dark green on the border, and I think it brings out the green in it. So
Well, and a geographic pattern is good for
Yeah.
a guy.
yeah.
So.
And then the other thing I did was I
Oh yeah, now you can talk about your
put
tray.
this over there.
Now the tray comes into play.
So I had made I guess a couple weeks ago. During our video, I was working on fabric covered buttons, but I had them just sitting in a bag because I had not put the magnets on them. So the other day I sat down and put magnets on everything here.
She's
all
got
in one
elephants, and
fell
we'll take a
swoop.
picture.
Yeah.
And these all each have sayings on
Yeah,
them.
so
Those are
all
cool.
these down here are inspirational quote things. And there's a couple of elephants down here and some butterflies. And all these fabric ones that I did, there's all kinds of
Bees and
bees and farm animals, and these over here are very light. There's a sheep. Yeah, there's like 3 sheep
Oh
there.
my God,
4
that's
sheep.
so cute.
Oh.
Yeah, I had her send me the pictures, and I opened my messenger. Beth sent me 21 pictures.
The whole bunch, I'm telling you. And these right up here are we're calling them our oops things because they all have
A little flaw.
yeah, the fabric is pinched on them or whatever. And there's one here that there's these lambs or sheep or whatever, but it's
All you can see is their eyeballs.
Yeah, they're very white on very
I think
pale
they show
yellow
up better
fabric.
when they're on, when the fabric is whole and you can kind of see them a little
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. It was a cute scene, but once I made them up, I was like, you really
They're
can't
so
see them.
small.
It looks all you can see is their little eyes. They're just their beady eyes. So like there's some down here with a bunny, and they show up better because the bunny is pink and
Yeah.
But yeah. So these 4 up here are a little cheaper because they're imperfect. But then also right here are some Christmas themed ones. And I know it's not Christmas, but Christmas
Those are
comes every
nice.
year. So there's a
love that Santa
little
Claus one.
teddy bear one here and a
Polar
Santa.
bear or
Santa Claus.
It's a teddy bear. I mean, yeah, it's not a gingerbread man. It's
oh,
a teddy
that's
bear.
No, I thought this one was a polar bear because I saw the nose.
No, this is Santa.
Oh, it's a Santa. I thought it was a polar bear dressed like Santa.
I
Okay.
had those in like a jewelry box or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were pins
Yeah.
originally, and the little pin backing
It had
come
come
kind of
off.
came off. So
And I said, Beth, I think these would make cute.
Yeah.
And then these were pins also, and I just took the pin back off, and I had to file them down so they would be nice and smooth.
That's
But
nice.
there's a moon-shaped Santa
That's so
and a Christmas tree,
cute. Aw,
very sparkly.
very nice.
So yeah, so this is what I spent all day one day doing that.
I'm just having a hard time because there's X's and Q's, but no K. Not one single K. I just am in disbelief.
And so the other thing I'm working on is again this design for my mom.
Oh, I love that.
The blessed design that I've been working on it little by little. I think the last time I worked on it was in March because I was trying to finish the owl that I finished, but I have not FFO'd yet, and bookmark then that I finished but have not FFO'd yet. So I was gonna spend the day today FFOing those, but I ended up like spending the day organizing all my cross stitch crap, and because May is coming up, and I thought, well, I want to do something for Mania, and I wanted to, when I finished the bookmark, I kind of like, well, I should do a new start, and I'm thinking about, actually, I have fabric set aside for Easter preparation and spring scamper. The spring scamper, I might dye.
That's the one with the race car.
Yeah,
Cute.
because it's actually very large, and the fabric that I have that's big enough, I have a couple of things that are like coffee dyed, and one that's like a sand color. It came that way for the in package, and the other one I have is white. So the model that that I have the picture of is blue. The fabric is a light blue. So I might do that. I might dye the fabric. And the other one, the Easter preparation, I have a piece of fabric that I was going to do for that one that is yellow. But I have a couple other options I might look at. The only thing about the yellow fabric that I'm concerned about is the white. The big bunny in the middle is white, and there's 2 eggs that these mice are carrying that are white, and then the banner across the top, the little string is white, and so I don't know if the white will show up well enough on the yellow fabric. It might for the big bunny because it would all be all together, but it might not for like where the banner is
You
hanging.
mean it'll do this?
Yes.
It'll do what? What's
How
it doing?
the white is fading in
Oh.
the yeah. So I might use it. I have like I think I have a blue fabric. At the last minute when I was putting things away, I came across a baggie with more fabric. I was like, oh, look at that. So if I think there's some blue in there, I'm not sure. Anyway, I have 2 or 3 different blue dyes, so I might do that to prepare that. But anyway, so I spent the day like going through these piles of like, oh, look at all those. I probably have 25 or 30 whips, and because I kept finding more and finding more and finding more. And I have so many patterns that I sort of like chose fabric for, although I didn't kit them up fully. And so I was kind of raiding some of those, looking for fabric that was big enough for the spring scamper pattern. But so anyway, that's how I spent my day, like going through all my stuff, putting things away,
I spent all
organizing
week going
things.
through my stuff looking for the notions.
Okay, so let me ask you. I made it says peace. So I made one side that says peace. Should I make the other side say love or joy?
Or
Joy,
Peace and joy.
war.
I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
war.
peace and
That's what I
War and
said.
peace. Yeah.
Joy? Peace
I
and
love
joy?
in Sky
That's
High
kinda-
how one of the characters' name is Warren Peace.
War and Peace, yeah. I love the movie.
I love that movie.
That is a good movie.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen
It's
it?
so funny.
It is so great. It's so cute.
I would put Joy on there just because it's smaller or shorter. You know, three letters,
Yeah.
and that way you have the two sizes.
Oh,
I mean,
except I
two
did it on the
sides.
wrong side.
Yeah.
Well, because I was trying to make it so that the bigger side is the
What
side
are
you
doing?
pull to make it smaller, and the smaller side is the one you pull to make it bigger.
No.
But
No,
I guess it doesn't
can't
matter.
eat this.
Just figure it out.
Your dog, ooh, trying to eat something.
Her dog likes to eat all kinds of things that are not for dogs.
Yeah. This
What is
is a
that?
little piece of, I don't
Fabric.
know, I think
Oh.
it's cardboard. It looks like cardboard
But
from
it
a
looked
package or
tasty.
something. I
Oh,
kept
speaking
hearing
of-
her licking something, and I would look, and I didn't see anything.
So the other day, I dropped my whole bottle of carvedilol, which is a heart rhythm drug. Dropped it. It was a 90-day supply.
Mm.
Oh,
And it
my.
went- So I was like, ah. So my husband and I are picking him up. You know, 5-second rule. Put it back in the bottle. Anyway, all of a sudden, Mark goes, look behind you. And I turn around, and those cats are there, and stupid Calvin licks the floor, he licks the bathtub, he licks whatever he
That sounds like that's what
wants to.
Snug does.
And so there he is, kind of hovering over this one pill, and I'm like, go away. And I pick it up, and it is wet and chalky.
Oh, no.
So his name is Calvin, so we called him Calvedilol for a while. Marcos, Calvedilol
Well,
seems like
when-
he's okay.
When my dog was a puppy, and we got her very young because she was found in a park by my son's friends, and they couldn't keep her, and we took her, but she was about this big. I mean, she was
yes,
so
we're talking
little.
about you.
We're talking about
She
you.
was so little, and we hadn't had her very long, and I see her chewing on something. I'm like, what could she be chewing on? It was a battery.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dogs get sick from that.
I know.
Or
I
kids,
took
too.
her to the doggy ER that night, and then
Did she swallow it?
no, it was pretty chomped, but they said they didn't see any burns in her mouth or anything. But yeah, I was freaking out. And then
Little idiot child.
we dropped after we moved to this house. I don't know. There were wooden matches out on the porch, and
yeah.
they fell down or something, and she ate one.
Jeez.
And yeah, you know, sometimes you're looking at her and she's got something hanging out of her mouth like a cigarette. But she ate one of
How's
those
that?
matches, and she was barfing and sick. That's
Yeah.
pretty. I like that.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's actually nice and lightweight. Yeah, I worry about these. They're glass. These beads are glass, so they have a little weight to them. But this one's nice.
If
and
you're
light.
working on a big project, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so my dog. That's why I was under the table going. I hear her chomping. What is she? And I thought, okay, she's just licking her paw, and then I like, she doesn't lick her paw that long. What is going on?
Also, I worry about Snug if I drop something if I drop a needle in there,
Oh.
that I'm worried about that that he'll he's like, what is this?
Yeah, so-
because whenever he wants to know what something is, his first instinct is to put his mouth
Well,
on
they
it.
don't
When
have
I was making
opposable thumbs.
the dress,
Mhm.
Hobbs decided to go. I have my pin cushion looks like a little dress form, and it's got like Paris and French words all over it. It's really cute, and I think it fell on the floor once or something, and he was over there pulling the pins out of it with his little mouth. I'm like, you're gonna die. Such a dumb little kitty. There you go. All right, there's another one. Yeah, so I'm like, why are you trying to kill yourself? So I bought these thinking I might use them for my stitch markers, but I think I want to stick to no metal, like these these jump rings. They can catch on yarn. So I'm going to give these to you guys. Look, there's coins, real cute little coins, and a little tea set. So that would make a cute scissor fob, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You could.
Yes.
So here.
But that makes me cry.
Oh, because I'm mama.
See, the reason I put a little teapot on that purple bag
And
was
here, you can have these two. 'cause
when
I'm
I
not
was young. I want to say pre-junior high. I think it was in elementary school. My mom had a birthday party for me, and she bought a little tea set.
Aw.
It was a little china tea set, and she had it for the longest time. I don't know if we still have it here. It used to be up on that rack over there with the dishes.
Mm. Yeah, the little brown
Brown tea set. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's
I
why.
remember that.
Yeah.
That's why I got
Like
that.
tiny, tiny,
Yes,
tiny.
tiny tea set. That's why I got her. That's why I got
I
the.
swear I've seen that.
It's probably here.
there might
It
be
might be in that
a
china
little
cabinet.
bit of it. Yeah, I don't know.
But
When I moved
I
here,
saw
yeah.
this and it just I was like, oh my god, my mom would love this.
I know. You're talking about finding that fabric. I was cleaning out. So for Christmas, I think I showed you guys. I made the washcloth with the flamingo for Eve
Yeah.
and the elephant for. Well, I had planned to make Mom one,
Mm.
and out of purple yarn, and I didn't think, obviously I didn't make it, and so the other day I was cleaning my craft area, and I found this one bag I have that's just chock full of all my cotton yarns, so, or I should say part of my cotton yarns. Anyways, it's a big bag. So I opened it up and I was kind of looking through, and there was that skein of that little ball of purple cotton, unused, brand new, it made me so sad.
Well, and really, I think we think we have forever.
Yep.
My son, we were gonna go do something, I don't remember what, as a family, and my son didn't want to. And I said, you never know when the last time's gonna be.
Yeah.
When we went to go get the Christmas tree, he almost didn't want to go, and then he decided last minute, and he's like, no, I'll go. And we had a good time, and went out to eat, and that was like right before Mom got sick.
Yeah.
So you never know when the last time is the last time.
Yeah.
Just like with your kids, you never know
When
when
the
you
last
pick
time
them
you
up.
pick them up, right?
that you're not going to be able to lift him again.
Mm-hmm.
My son, when he was little, whenever I would pick him up from school or whatever, he'd go running toward me and he'd launch
I
himself at me.
remember.
And then I remember one time saying, you can't do that anymore. You're going to hurt me. You're going to knock me down, because he was getting so heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to be carried all the time. But
But there was one day when it was the last time, and you don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what day was the last time. And my son often wants me to go watch movies with him, even now. So my son is 23, and he lives with us, thank God, because he's been such a help. Oh, except he's also a mess. But
Sorry for making noise. I'm trying to open this.
when he asks me, when he says, "Mom, you want to come
Do you want
watch a
my
movie with
scissors?
me?" the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
And often I don't have time to sit and watch a movie. But what I'm doing that much more important? No.
Right.
And because there's going to be a day when he's going to get married or whatever, and there won't be any more, Mom, can I watch? You want to watch a movie with me?
Right.
And that was my same attitude when I quit working to be home with him.
Guess I should have opened the
You know-
other side. Sorry. I'm making a mess.
He was adopted at 2, and he didn't deal well with it, and he didn't ask to be adopted, so
Sorry. I'm
it's
making
okay.
noise. I want to play with these beads. It's an awkward box. They're still in there. They're still in there. Okay. Sorry.
So I I had a good job as a graphic designer, and people are like, "Well, why did you quit?" Because my son was more important.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at these. These are fun. They're
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're just plastic, but they're
They're like mine.
fun. Yeah, they look like
Carvings.
yeah, carving beads or something. Well, that's fun. Okay.
Okay, why won't the needle go in the hole? I'm
Same
like,
reason I was thinking, "Oh, how did I do this? How did I decide I was doing this?"
man, those are tiny stitches. Oh, you can see that.
They're 28 counts, the same size as a 14. Is a 14 by 14 count
Oh,
Ada?
little tiny.
No.
Anyway, her stitching is always so pristine. Mine's all lumpy.
I
It's
did
like
this
sweater.
long ago.
And I taught her how to do it, but
I
you know
did this
she's
wrong.
very exact about things. That's why I have her measure where the snaps are going to go on the notions pouches, because I just kind of eyeball it.
You need someone with OCD to have that job.
Yeah, so
I don't know how I did this though. I don't remember what I decided.
What are you talking about?
To get from one row to the next. I had to come up with that's not right way to do this, and I don't know what I had decided to
because
do.
you have to have the back look as good as the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make a
Oh,
mess
I know
like the
what
rest
I
of
did.
us.
I know what I did. Okay.
I was looking at the back of these hearts, going, "That is definitely not my sister's cross stitch." I go back afterward and I make sure everything's trimmed nicely and everything, and
I just make it up as I go.
But I was watching this video on Corey Ten Boom. Was it her? And she said that she liked the back of an embroidery, regular embroidery, not cross stitch, but because it was all a mess.
Yeah.
And she says that's how we are, but this is what God sees.
Right. That's what I was. I was just telling that to some friends of ours who are going into the ministry. It's their daughter for whom I'm knitting that little rainbow sweater. Anyway, I was just telling them that because they were talking about how God has worked everything for them to go into this ministry, and like they weren't even looking for it or planning it, and it all just fell into place. And I was saying, yeah, I always think of that like all we can see is the knots and loose ends,
Mm-hmm.
But God has that picture, that plan that we don't even understand.
He has the pattern.
Yeah, he knows the pattern exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ooh, this is fun. I don't even know what to do.
That's like when I was going through all this stuff, here that I was at, in Little Rock. I was all by myself out there, and if I had been there still when with my
You got so sick.
tumor and everything else, and also even now I'm thinking about if I was in Little Rock now, I don't know if, because I was per service, and I don't know how the symphony is handling it, because people who were on salary.
Oh, you mean through COVID and
Yeah,
not being able to play?
because they had to, cancel the season or whatever, and some of the players in the orchestra, just a handful, really, not that many, were salaried, like the concertmasters and the people in the standing quartets, whatever. But I don't know what they did in terms of people, people's salaries or the per service players, whatever, And I was thinking, if I had been without the symphony income, and I don't know what Blue Cross was doing with their employees, how they were handling it,
Mm-hmm.
and and even at that job, I was a long-term temp, so I don't know.
What
you
you would
know,
have been able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And so, yeah, I was thinking about that that here, even though I'm no longer playing and my life is completely different than it was, um, you know, I'm protected in a way because, I came out here and after the surgery and everything, I went on disability and um, so it didn't affect me one way or the other really.
Yeah.
Well, even just the way you and Mark came out here.
Mm.
Who, me?
Yeah, you and Mark, how you ended up here in Phoenix, the
And
perfect
then
place to be.
everybody followed us.
No, the
Like
perfect
Little
place
House on the Prairie.
the perfect place to be for when Eli got sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
There are 2 places in the country that are the best at that surgery, and you happen to be in one of them.
Yeah.
Well, and that was what I was thinking about. That when I first was diagnosed, I wanted to come to the Barrow Institute here in Phoenix because it's also one of the good places to go for the kind of surgery that I had for acoustic neurosurgery. And at the time when I was first diagnosed, I didn't have
Good insurance.
good insurance that would
Or
have
money. To
yeah,
just, yeah.
that would have paid for me to come out here and everything. So so I was treated there in Little Rock, and it was fine, but it wasn't like I wanted to come out here and have my radiation or have surgery or something, and I couldn't do it, and so but I ended up out here at the time, and then when I did have to have surgery, I ended up
It was at Barrow.
going to Barrow. Yeah.
Because you were here in town. And
Yeah.
well, here's the thing. Remember when you went to the ER that day? So she had her acoustic neuroma and the
I
it started to grow
radiation,
again,
yeah.
and we didn't realize, but she'd started to get hydrocephalus from it. But we knew something was wrong, so we took her and to the ER, and they were trying to get her a bed at one hospital really close to us, which is what I was stupidly hoping for. And then they're like, no, there isn't anything, but they found a bed for her at St. Joseph's, which is I had forgotten associated with, that's where Barrow's Institute is. And because she was at St. Joseph's, automatically all the brain surgery, surgeons and everything were part of Barrow's. So, and I was like, oh no, she's going to go to St. Joseph because it's like far across town. And I was, so I was kind of stressed about that, but then it wound up being just.
Well, even the
exactly
rehab, she went to the Muhammad Ali.
No, well, no, it was in a different.
No,
Was that there?
That
Yes.
was the Muhammad Ali rehab place.
Yeah,
You don't just
I
don't
have no
remember.
idea.
you don't remember because of
You
what
were-
was going on, but that's like the place to get neuro rehab,
Yeah.
and you were fortunate to have. If you hadn't been in that hospital, you wouldn't have had that rehab.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, well, because they were talking about a rehab facility separate from
Yeah, we because Mark and I went and looked at a place over here by the hospital. It was okay, but I think that was much better. It was hard having you so far away from because oh, that's too big. That's no good. It was hard having you so far away because it was hard to get to you, and I went every day. But it was the best place
Yeah.
for you to be.
Yeah, and like I said, that it was the place I was, thinking of when I was first diagnosed, and then I ended up, going there anyway. So it was great because, one of the things that people talk about in the acoustic neuroma group that I'm in on Facebook, one of the things that people talk about is, where should I go for surgery, or has anybody ever been here, whatever. And most places are good, but the places that have the most experienced surgeons who are experienced with this specific tumor, because you can have a neurosurgeon and they're all skilled at what they do, but doctors who have seen more acoustic neuromas and have more experience with that specific tumor, you want those kind of more experienced doctors to be dealing with doing your surgery and all that. And so the Barrow Institute is one of best places that people talk about on online. There's UC San Diego, and the Barrow Institute and the Mayo Clinic and places like that are the top ones. But yeah, so Barrow just was ended up was one of the best places. So you could see that as luck, or you could see that as
And
providence.
that hospital was so accommodating to the family.
St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I mean, for a bad experience, it was a good experience.
Yeah, and there's a hospital, a hotel, like pretty much on the hospital
that
property.
is another blessing at
Yeah.
that place. So yeah, there's a hospital.
Yeah.
It was a
hotel.
I think.
Hampton Inn.
Hampton, yeah.
Yeah.
I kept saying hospital too. It's a hotel.
Yeah, and it was right there, and
it had a shuttle to the hospital areas because it was almost on the hospital property.
yeah, but there was a lady there. You have breakfast, and I guess she won some national award from that hotel chain, like the best hostess. And she was a believer, and she found out why because my parents came from New Mexico at the time, and they came and stayed there, and she would like pray with them every morning and hug them, and I took a picture of them together, and because Mom and Dad just loved her. She was so sweet.
For all the stress they were going through, it really
It helped them a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, they were, in a strange town.
Yeah, because we put them up at the hotel right by the hospital, but we live half an hour away.
Yeah.
So they were out there in town,
By themselves,
kind of all by
basically.
themselves.
Now, the parking attendants, another story.
Oh no. No. Yeah.
Actually,
so that
they
was-
have little shuttles. If you go and park, they have little shuttles. But we're talking about the people who
No,
pay.
this was when you were already out of the hospital.
Yeah.
That one day, remember?
That no good, very bad day?
Yes, that was a horrible day. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so
The
you
day
had
that
to
will
go.
live in infamy.
What was the story?
I had a
you had an
doctor's appointment. Yeah.
And they said, we need to check your shunt. So they sent you for an x-ray. But they sent you for an x-ray at the ER in the bottom of the hospital.
Yeah, because my insurance would not pay for me to have just like a regular MRI or whatever, or x-ray. The insurance wouldn't pay for it, so the only way to do it would be to admit me to the ER or to send me to the ER or whatever.
So yeah, it was crazy, and so.
But since I wasn't bleeding to death, at the ER, I had to sit there forever.
So okay, we had parked in the hospital parking, which I think you can get validated for like 2 hours or something like that. I think that's
the
what the
doctor's
story
office,
is.
yeah.
So I had that validation, I think. So it would have been free, right? So that's right. And so we were there all day.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, she got seen and got the x-ray. And then we had to go back up to the neuro. And by the time they were done seeing you, everything was closed.
Yeah,
Remember?
it was like 5 o'clock or whatever.
And
we hadn't eaten all
pouring,
day.
and it was
And
pouring.
it had started pouring. So Arizona doesn't get a lot of rain. But when it does, in
It
like
really-
the summer,
yeah.
it can be torrential.
Well,
it-
and it doesn't absorb into the ground
No.
because the ground is baked hard,
well,
so everything
well,
starts flooding.
Yeah, it floods, and the streets don't have, we don't have the kind of rain gutters that you see in like eastern cities, so it just goes onto the road. So
Well, we had been there all day. Like, my appointment was early in the morning, and then at the ER, we were there all
literally all day, and then,
waiting to
yeah,
see. And so we hadn't had anything to eat.
Yeah, I had anything to eat, and so the little,
And I knew it was like 5-ish when we saw the doctor finally.
So then the hospital, the doctor's assistant guy got us some like little,
She
little
sent somebody
snacks.
down to,
like little snack packs or something. Anyway, so she could barely walk at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pouring rain. So
You know, and I was so glad because I almost told the doctor, because the physician's assistant that saw me, she came down.
Well, wait.
You know,
So let me finish. So it was pouring rain.
yeah.
So okay, you can get to the
There's a walkway.
there's a walkway
Parking
to get
garage,
to the
yeah.
parking garage. So I didn't have to go out in the pouring rain, or did I?
No, you did
No.
because you were parked on the top of the building of the parking structure.
Right.
So you left your purse with me so that
Yeah.
it wouldn't get full of rain when
Yeah.
you went out to the car.
Because I just ran across the street. That's
Right.
right. Because I could have. Oh, I don't. There was some reason I couldn't go back up. I don't know.
No, I think you did go through the walkway, but then you had to go out on the roof. You were on the very top of the parking structure.
Oh, maybe that's right.
Yeah.
So I think I had the ticket with me. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah,
But not your
not
purse.
your purse.
but not my purse.
Yeah.
So I got to the car and I drove down, and so I had left her at the little turnaround, at the
the
little
breezeway
yeah, you know, the
between
little
the-
driveway where you pull in to drop people off because she couldn't walk all that
Yeah.
way, and so
Especially in the rain.
I went there. Yeah, and I didn't take my purse because it was pouring. Because I thought my ticket was validated. Well, I get to the parking structure, and to the attendant, and he goes, "Oh, well, it's I don't know how much
It's
money."
$1.
It was something.
Yeah, it was
It was
$1.
$1 because I'd been there over 2 hours, and I'm like, I don't have my purse with me. I don't have $1. And I'm like, literally, you see that the ticket is validated and that I was there for a doctor's appointment. It's not like I was there to go to the movies. But he's like, well, I said, I don't have my purse. He goes, well, that's not how it works. And I'm like, my sister's sitting over there, and I don't, are you going to hold me hostage?
For $1.
And so I was, but he finally let me go. And I think he wrote something on a
your
paper like that I
Yeah.
owed this money or something. And he was so mean. He was so rude.
And, and I almost told the physician's assistant who saw me.
Oh yeah, because the physician's
yeah.
assistant came
So
out.
so I had the little snack boxes that they gave us, and so she came out to check on me because I was waiting in the breezeway
Forever,
and-
because I was
yeah.
fighting with the parking attendant.
And so she said, "Oh, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And I almost sent her home, because I thought, she doesn't have to wait with me. I'm fine to wait by myself.
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't say anything, and she stayed there with me, and then Naomi finally pulled up and was upset because that guy had been so mean, and so she
She took the card from me and
Yeah.
I think took his name down or something.
yeah, and I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll take care of
She
it."
is so
Well, you know what? I used to drive Uber, and one day I got a call to go to a medical facility in Scottsdale. It was late in the day. It was like 5:30, 5:45, and it was closed. I mean, the parking lot was empty, and there was an elderly man, and you could tell he was upset. He was, and then there was somebody in a medical, scrubs or something. And what had happened was he was supposed to be picked up by one of those, taxi services with the voucher or whatever,
Oh.
to come and get him, or a bus or something to come and get him from the medical appointment, which he had had earlier that afternoon, like at 2. Right? And they never came to get him. And you're supposed to be out there waiting, so you can't step in to, can I use the phone or can I use the bathroom? Because if you're not out there waiting,
Yeah.
So finally they're like, nobody's picked you up yet. And that woman that I saw in the medical scrubs used her own money to call the Uber to take him home. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was so upset the whole time in the car. He was so upset. He goes, I didn't know how I was going to get home. I didn't know
my
how I was going to get
God.
home. And I was like,
People
if
who
I
do-
knew who he had called, I would call and complain for him. Because I used to work with people that depended on rides like that. And sometimes I'd be there waiting for them to come be picked up. And you know, they can pick you up as much as an hour early or as much as an hour late. And when they say an hour late, they mean like 2. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we came to pick her up, but she wasn't there. I was like, then you went to the wrong facility because she's here. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just like, oh man, I would have taken you home for free.
So.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say.
What? No, go ahead. What?
On that horrible day, we ended up driving home. It was like trying to flood everywhere we went.
I was afraid to get on the
freeway. And you didn't have any gas.
Oh, yeah.
We had to stop and get gas. So here we are. We hadn't had anything to eat. We're barely having food to eat on the way, and we had to stop and get gas. And the streets were flooding, and everywhere. I remember we drove by some canal, and it was up to the lip. And
it gets like that.
And just it was a horrible, horrible day. And we were driving, downtown.
I was afraid to take the freeway, but that's so stupid.
Because our freeways here can flood.
Well, yeah, they have flooded. That's true. But I was afraid to take the freeway and all that because it was just horrible downpour. And so then I'm like, maybe this was a mistake to go through these little streets because they were all flooding.
And we had to like detour here and detour there because they were closing the street and closing that street, or we were trying to avoid streets that
we'd look down the street. No, can't go that way.
It was a horrible, no good, very bad day.
Yes, it was. So the only other time
the day which shall live in infamy.
Yes,
I'm telling
there's
you.
another one that lives. Okay, so if you've ever heard of a haboob, like in Asia kind of area, we get those. We get really bad dust storms and. Stupid. This is my moment of stupidity. I was going to go out and get dinner at El Pollo Loco, and I got in the car, and as I was driving, so when there's a really bad dust storm, and this one actually was very famous, and I think there's photos of it, it is like the whole entire sky. You see a wall of dirt like this coming at you.
Very tall wall.
And you don't, because it's so big and it was kind of far away, you don't realize how fast it's coming. And
you can't see through it. It's like driving through fog, very, very, very dense fog.
Well, so I was driving, so I was going south and it was coming kind of at an angle across the city. And I saw it and I was like, oh, look how far away it is. But that's cool. It's a giant dust storm. So I reached over to get my phone so I could call my husband. And I didn't have my phone. And I'm like, because I was going to call him and say, tell the kids to go outside and look at the dust storm. Because it was really big. So then I get onto the little freeway. I only have to go a couple miles on the freeway to the next exit to get to where the old Pollo Loco was. I get on the freeway, so I turn actually kind of facing it. And I was like, wow. That's really big, but it's very far away. And there were people stopped on the side of the road taking pictures. So I go, and by the time I go that just from Kyrene to the mall, what's that, 2 miles? Mm-hmm. By the time I go on there and I get off and I'm going to go to the restaurant drive-through, it is there. And I'm in the drive-through and it gets dark. And this was early evening when I went. The sun was still really bright. And my memory of being in the El Pollo Loco drive-through was darkness like this, and I was like, "Give me food! Give me food! Give me food!" And there was trees on the other side of the drive-through. It was like, and I'm like, "Give me my food!" I don't have my phone. I can't call Mark and tell him where I am or anything. He knows that this, because it's overtaken the house by now, and stupid. What I did was, instead of sitting in the parking lot, I decided to drive home. So then I'm like, oh, I'm not getting on the freeway, which was also a mistake. It probably would have been better on the freeway because it's kind of lower, Anyway, I go down Chandler Boulevard. I cannot see, if I'm sitting at a light, I cannot see past the other side of the intersection. It was awful. And I'm crying and I'm praying and I'm driving. I'm like, I'm not quite sure where my turnoff road was. I couldn't see.
Golly.
And the only thing that saved me was, there's a U-Haul right by my street. And I saw the U-Haul and I was like, okay, that's my street. So then I go up the street. And this street this is Roosevelt Street. And it's got giant trees.
Ooh.
Almost like, what are they? Some kind of willows and I think maybe olives. I don't know. And pines and like they're tall trees and they're and there's branches and junk all over the road and and then I get past like there's like a little industrial area and then I get past it into the actual housing and I cannot see. And I'm driving up the street and I'm not quite sure where my street is. And I see a truck parked on the side and I think I recognize that truck. This is where I turn. And I pulled up a little bit and I looked down and I could see our house lights on. And I started crying and I pull into the driveway, into the garage, and I'm just bawling. And Mark comes out. He's like, "You stupid!" Like I shouldn't have driven home. I know.
So it wasn't that dust storm, but it was a very bad one. Robert was at a swim meet. Can you imagine all those kids in their swimsuits with that
Mud.
the dirt hurts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they shut everything down really quick, and you try to pull down anything that might blow away. And they said, "Get into the bathrooms. Go.
Yes,
Go.
It is bad.
And so we're all of us crammed into the bathroom. and
I don't think there's been a bathroom like that
No.
since I've been, in all the time.
But
I've been here.
there's a really good YouTube of the one that she's talking about. You can just see this wall of dirt coming like that.
That's the famous one, the one I was in.
I know.
Every time I go out for food, it seems to be a dust storm in the sun. But I was like, I got the chicken. If it wasn't Pollo Loco, I drive there like that. I just thought, oh, it's way over there in town.
When I was driving Uber, I refused to drive if it was dust storms or anything like that, rain, dust storms, because it just heightens your risk of.
I was always afraid of getting stuck out in the middle of nowhere during a tornado, because I used to drive, from Little Rock to Albuquerque for Christmas, and Christmas was a really bad one because it always seemed like I'd be almost home, like almost to either like right on the border, close to New Mexico, or at Klein's Corners, and Eve or somebody would call me and say, "Oh, where are you? How are you? How is everything? How's the weather?" I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm going on." And then the second I hung up, the snow would start flying or whatever. Something horrible would happen. But I was always afraid, because that was, especially in Texas, it was tornado country, and if the sky was like, there was one time I was like, "Please God, please God, please God. Give me some blue sky," because it was so cloudy and just stormy looking, like at any minute there could be a tornado, and I would be I'd have to run and find a ditch or something,
At one time when I was driving in Florida from Tampa back to where I lived in Cocoa, there was this horrible hailstorm, rain and hail together, and you couldn't see. Fortunately, I was on the freeway. Well, it's it's that little diagonal 4, and I couldn't see out the windshield. And fortunately, I saw an overpass, and I pulled off underneath the overpass until it passed off, because I was like,
just rain?
No, it was hail.
Oh,
but also rain.
Yeah.
It was.
The worst rain I've ever driven was in Baltimore, Maryland. I was driving on the freeway. Me and Eli was little. We were going to. I was staying. I don't know why Mark wasn't there. He came later, I think, or something. I don't know. Or I think we had all gone out to visit, and then he left early to go back to work, and I stayed for this conference. And anyway, my father-in-law, stay in this lane, get in that lane. He's like gave me all these instructions to drive. And I'm driving their car. I've never seen rain like that. Just like a solid sheet, like ridiculous. Like if you had a bucket and you just went like that, and it was just, it was awful. I'm like, how do people drive in this?
Yeah, well, living in Little Rock for 25 years, it was tornado country, and it was there was there was one time when a tornado came through, but like I was like, I think that was the night that I was like, in the bathroom,
Ugh.
like just I had pillows and everything else with the bathtub to get in the bathtub, and then there was the time when I was at work. That the really bad one was when I was at work, and I remember. Yeah, I lived down in my first apartment. That I was at work and the sirens are going off and people left early and everything else, and then just before or right around the time I went. I don't know if it happened just before or just after I passed by that this one grocery store was flattened.
Oh my gosh.
And it kind of went diagonally across town, and so it didn't quite come up where I was, but like a couple of blocks away at 9th Street. I lived on 7th, and this was at 9th, and I lived like 2 or 3 blocks, or 2 blocks from the freeway, 3 blocks from the freeway, and at 9th and the freeway, it knocked the Shell sign down and flattened the restaurant there.
Tornado country is a no.
Yeah,
It's a big note for me. No way.
And so, and just around, there were. I remember Mom came to visit me shortly afterward, and we were driving, by all these houses that were messed up from the tornado, that were destroyed, and
So
everything else. And
it's been over an hour.
I know. We need to wrap it up. We're just
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah.
But
Thank you to our new subscriber.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys tell your friends.
Yes, please subscribe and
Subscribe and like. Subscribe and like. Not scribe. Scribe is writing.
subscribe. Yeah, no, we're enjoying it. In about a month, we're gonna go to the mountains and we'll film from there. I was like,
Yeah.
that'll be exciting.
That'll be
oh,
fun.
and yeah, congratulations to Teresa Chuckley. I can never say your name right.
We don't know.
Chuckley? I don't know.
I think we have her address because I think she ordered something.
Yeah, but just in case, go ahead and send me your your address to my email. I think I mentioned this on my channel, but she is the winner of my 200 subscriber giveaway on my channel.
Fun.
Yeah,
That's
so
nice.
so I just want to say congratulations again because I think she watches this channel as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
she
I've
does.
seen her comment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
check out
tomorrow I have to go and do more knitting classes all day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. Anyway, I made some. Oh, look at these! I made these
Yeah.
little woody ones.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. I literally don't know where the remote is.
It's under all that stuff.
It's not though.